It's definitely bittersweet, but it's been a long journey, and I've got to compete with some awesome people, against some awesome people, then with super special teammates like this guy next to me, then like everyone else who's out there not in here right now. So I'm just super grateful. It's just been such a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, I want to second everything Silas said there. I mean, it was extremely bittersweet, and you think about all the things that you could have done, all the times that I lost here, and all the times that this or that. But those are toxic thoughts because just as Silas said, being grateful is the most important thing. And I think that the most special thing that has come from being here is all the people that I've got to meet and all the people that made me who I am today. And they don't get the spotlight, and that's what's hard is without Blake Cushing, I'm not Brock Hardy, right? And without guy before me, Chad Redd, I'm not Brock Hardy. And so I feel like this is a great point to have some gratitude for everything that we've been blessed with, and that's when you wrestle best, is when you're grateful.
How did you guys balance the emotions coming into today, knowing no matter what happens, it's your last time in here, but also focusing on the task at hand?
I think just experience. I think the sport tests you so much emotionally. Like there's always some kind of pressure. There's always a certain moment, right? Me and Brock have both been fortunate enough to wrestle in big situations, whether it's dual meet implication, individual titles, whatever the case may be. So I think that there comes a point when you learn how to kind of drown out the thoughts and the extracurriculars and just focus on the task at hand. And I think again, it's just, like I said, it's a lot of experience, a lot of years competing in the sport and learning just how to handle pressure, handle the moment, and be able just to get the task at hand done.
Yeah, I agree 100% that it's a lot of experience. And one thing that is so interesting about our sport is that it's often seen as like a negative effect that cutting weight, means that we're spending all this time not thinking about wrestling. But I also think that moments like these, it's actually some form of a blessing, right? I couldn't even think about it being my last match because the thing I'm thinking about probably the most every day is making 141, and until 11 o'clock this morning, that was kind of my main thought is doing that, and then you only get 2 hours to really think about something else, and we have really good coaches and really good support system that makes us go, hey, think about this. And then, you get done with the match, then you're like, oh, yeah, this is my last time. I better give a bow.
On that note, you guys are coming off 3 losses, and you shut out Northwestern. What does it feel like as a team to blank them?
No. Did you realize it?
I didn't really realize it. I think that it was really tough, those 3 losses, mainly because they're 3 really good teams. It's wrestling's such a weird team sport because I think when we lose, it's very painful to lose as a team, and you know it. Even when you win, you feel it, right? But when you win as a team, you don't really. I mean, we should cherish the moments, right? Because usually when we win as a team, you're lost in being happy.
Yeah, it's tough because I think that the guys on our team do a really, really good job of having this mentality of truly nothing matters till March. Obviously, we always go out there to win. We always want to compete to the best of our abilities. And, on days when we take losses where we feel like we should win, like that's, obviously it rubs us the wrong way and it motivates us and pushes us. But, at the end of the day, it truly, our sport is unique in the sense that, be peaking come March. Everything be right come March. Up until that, it genuinely, it truly, doesn't matter. So I think that short-term memory, focusing on the next task at hand, and yeah, just always being prepared to fight and get the job done.
You guys mentioned your relationship with the support staff. I mean, how important has it been with Manning and everybody over the last 4 or 5 years to just kind of work through your time here?
6 years, man. Both of us have been here since 2020. We had that weird COVID year that didn't count, and then our redshirt years. I mean, that's the thing is there's coaches that aren't coaching for us anymore that that we got to spend time with, and we've had teammates that we've even had teammates that have come and gone while we've been here. And so, like, every single person that, you know, we've passed in contact with, you know, I would hope that they, you know, their impact is everlasting in the sense that, you know, I can always take the good from everyone that I've met and every person that, you know, we've been able to have contact with. And Manning's done a great job of creating a staff and a team that fills every gap, right? We have coaches that are going to be hard on you when they need to be and love you when you're down, and, you know, when you're winning, you know, they're going to be there cheering for you, and same for the team.
Yeah, I mean, I second everything Brock said. You know, I truly, like, this is so much more than a wrestling team. Like, there's, you know, I think that Brock and I, you know, our class coming in, just the culture shift that's happened over Nebraska wrestling. It's beyond, you know, teammates and wrestling success. It's truly like family and success in life and pushing each other to be the best, you know, young men that we can be. And I mean, the coaches just, I mean, like Brock said, they do such a good job of facilitating that kind of relationship and that kind of dynamic, you know, amongst, you know, ourselves with each other, and then also in our interactions and our relationships with them. Man, it's been so special. Yeah, I mean, like Brock said, I hope that I hold on to, you know, the impact that everyone has had on me, and I hope that in some sense I've left an impact on them as well.
For Jagger getting plugged in at 165 and then not winding up being able to wrestle today, what did you guys just tell him? What was your guys' message to him?
I mean, it's such a tough situation because he's known that he was going to be wrestling this week for, you know, a minute, because we know LJ was going to be out for Brazil U20s or U23s now. How old is he?
I think it's U20 still, one more year.
I haven't got a good time to talk to Jag about it. Just, you know, kind of the blur of the situation. But, you know, Jag's really smart. And Jag is, you know, he's been through a lot. And, you know, I think that, you know, he'll roll with the punches, and he knows that, you know, yeah, he wishes he would have wrestled, but I also think, you know, at least you got to put on a singlet. Some of the other seniors didn't get to do that.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a matter of control the controllables. Like, that's out of his hand. Then you can really do about it. But go out there, get your hand raised, and soak in the moment, right? The crowd's still cheering for you. They're still proud of you. They're still glad to see you out there and see you get a little bit of spotlight. So just, I mean, be grateful for everything, right? It's a super cool thing that he even gets to still put on a singlet and be on our team. You know, there was a moment in time when he didn't even know if he was going to be able to compete anymore. So it's cool for him to have that moment regardless.
Thanks. Thank you guys.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Can you just take us through that?
Yeah, you know, I didn't like how I wrestled overall, but, you know, it's something we've talked about with the coaches is just, you know, the only way to really, you know, get pins at this level is applying a certain level of pressure, and he was applying a really high pressure too, and so, you know, I've been pinned there earlier this year in that same spot, and I've gotten pins there over the years, and so I got it done. And then obviously the little altercation afterwards. You know, I apologized to Brayden after because I patted him on the belly, but it wasn't meant to be like in a way of like, hey, you know. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be belittling whatsoever. Thank you for the words, Silas. It wasn't supposed to be belittling, but also I can see how it was taken that way. So like I said, he reacted, but like I understand the reaction. You know, there were so many people at Bryce. What was the Bryce?
Bryce Jordan Center.
Bryce Jordan Center was packed. The energy was insane, and you know, wrestling is chippy. You know, brings a lot of intensity. I don't blame him. And you know, we cleared up afterwards, and you know, I'll say that it was my bad.
Thank you, guys.
questions for Coach Manning.
Can you just speak of this environment today? And it seemed like there was a takedown every other second from your attack point from your team.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to thank our fans, man. We had, a Super Bowl Sunday. A lot of people just stay home, but beautiful day, and that just shows the commitment to our fans. They're not just coming for just the big duels. I thought we had a great crowd there, and I really appreciate how many people travel to our dual meets and bring their kids and family, and that's what our program's all about. That's really cool, and can't thank them enough. And just the environment just really inspires our guys, and obviously, we had Silas and Brock that were seniors, and Jagger that actually competed. So, for them, they're going to be fired up because it's their last home duel, and they want to go out in the bang, but their focus really, our team was just really focused on themselves. They weren't focused on their opponent. They were focused on themselves, and we've had some hard practices and tough conversations about really extending yourself, and so that showed today, and we did a good job.
What was the reasoning behind Northwestern forfeiting at 157, 165, and then how did Jagger take that news?
Well, I don't know what their deal is. I know they wrestled Michigan State last Sunday, and they wrestled at 57, 65. They just had guys got hurt during the week, I guess, or sick. So, but it would have been great for Jagger to wrestle. LJ Arujo had to go to Brazil down to qualify for the Brazilian national team. They basically had their U.S. Open, the Brazilian Open this weekend. And so for him to be able to wrestle for Team Brazil next fall, he had to attend this tournament. And him and Marco Christensen, one of our other guys, he's also Brazilian descent. And so those guys both went down there, and LJ made the team, beat five guys, and Marco got second. But that's why Jagger was going to be in the lineup, and it was going to be great to be able to, as a senior, for him to be able to wrestle, and then they end up having to forfeit. So unfortunate that happened for Jag, but that's why we saw we got some red shirts wrestling today in Indianapolis. So yeah.
What was your takeaway from Kale and just the way he was able to start out the afternoon?
I think Kale, one of their better guys on their team. I thought he, kind of the roller coaster of wrestling. You get a takedown, and then it kind of goes the other way, and then he got to reverse the momentum, and so I think that shows him growth, that able to come back in tight matches and score late, and that's the winning potion there. It's you got to wrestle every scramble. You can't stop wrestling, at this level, and so I thought that was a really good spark for us, and I thought. Just a really good spark for Cale Lawrenson. That's what he needed. We need more of that from him. He's capable of doing that, and we know it. He's got to do it more in competition.
You're coming off of 3 losses against very high-ranked teams. Northwestern isn't ranked like that, doesn't have the standings, but for your team to still go out and put a goose egg on the board against them, what does that mean?
Well, it's just about their focus and about themselves right now. It's gets this part of the season. You're going to wrestle tough guys, and so whether it's you wrestle in first round or quarterfinals at Big Tens or semifinal, you're going to have to beat good people in front of you. So figuring out how to do that, and we've kind of run the gauntlet from Minnesota to all the way through, Iowa, Ohio State, Penn State. So you're going to wrestle good people. That's why we're in this conference. I love it. And you're going to be challenged, and it's only going to make us better. So hopefully we got two more Big Ten duels that are going to be challenging. You know, Illinois and Indiana. Indiana just had a big win, and Illinois has been wrestling really well. So there's a lot of good individual matchups, and so there's a lot of meaning behind these dual meets because seeding purposes. So we're going to see a lot of good people next weekend, and you know, it's going to be a good opportunity for us.
Back to your seniors, for them just to all pick up Tech Falls, how fitting was that?
Oh, they did, yeah. I think that just shows they, you know, how much this program means to them, and you know, they have a great love, and there's a community here in our program, and that's what you see. And you know, whether it's a backup, whether it's Hayden Mills or Blake Cushing, you know, they're cheering just as hard for Brock or Silas and as anyone. So I think that's the special potion we have going.
For Van D, although he didn't get to take on Spittle, for Jim just to go out attack, snap that 3-bout losing skid, how much can that benefit him now taking on likely Bird next week as number 1?
Yeah, huge. I think that's huge. I think Jacob Van D is, you know, he's had a gauntlet. You know, his weight class in the Big Ten is, I'm not sure if there's ever been a weight class like that in the Big Ten. I mean, there's I mean, it's every guy's ranked in the top 8. So, you know, he's ran through the gauntlet. He's taken some lumps, but that he's resilient. That dude's resilient, and he's got more in the tank, and he knows it. And you know, he's ready for the challenge. I love it. That shows a lot. You take some tough losses, and then you know what kind of spirit, what kind of energy are you going to wrestle with? And so that Jacob, you know, performed really well.
Any further questions?
On Minto, and Wright's kind of sneaky there.
Yeah.
How did you like his fight back to just, when a little bit of adversity struck, a couple reviews and everything, for him to just fight and get that takedown in the final 30 seconds to avoid the upset?
That's just Christopher Minto. That's what makes him a special guy. That's why he can be on the top of the podium. He finds a way to win, and he's a smart, crafty wrestler, and you know, I mean, he's just a sophomore, so he's learning all these, you know, ways how to win. You know, it's gonna take all of his craft to be able to, you know, win a national title, and so he understands he has to get better. And you know, that Northwestern guy is really good and really hard to wrestle, and yeah, that Christopher did a good job, kept his composure.
Who you got in the Super Bowl tonight?
Super Bowl tonight, Dallas Cowboys, but no. Man, I'd like the Patriots to win, but I think the Seahawks might win. I don't know. It's going to be tough. I wouldn't put it past the Patriots, though. Not a betting guy, though. Yeah. Seth wants to hear that, too.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.